My name is Lavette. I was raised in a Pentecostal home. We was the family that was at church every single Sunday, but we didn't practice anything that was preached at home. My dad was an alcoholic, and he beat my mom on a regular, which led me to going out in the streets looking for love. My first experience with an abortion clinic was at the age of 16, but I had an infection, so I could not get the abortion. I thank God every day because I have a beautiful 22-year-old son. 3 months later, I became pregnant again by a different guy, and I wasn't so lucky that time. My mom told me there's no way you having that baby, but I wanted to have that baby so bad. But she said no way. She took me to the abortion clinic, and I kept crying and kept crying. So the nurse brought me back out to my mom and said, "She keep crying, we can't do it." My mother gave me a look, and I knew what that look meant. So we went to the car, and she said, "Lavette, when you come back tomorrow, you better not cry." So I did just that. I cried in the parking lot, put my big girl pants on, and went back in the next day and had the abortion. The nurse said two things that rattled me. She told me, "She just keep moving." I knew then I had a daughter, and I felt like that was her last fight for life. A couple of months later, I got pregnant again by a different guy. But I knew the routine now. I said, hey, I'm going to just have an abortion. Nobody in my family knew. I knew to cry in the parking lot and go inside and win your Oscar. Don't cry at all. And I did just like that. And my whole life was going downhill from there. I became more promiscuous, drinking, drugs, and I even attempted suicide. And then my husband came into my life, and he loved me right where I was at. And he loved the Lord. So I said, that's what I'll do. I'll do religion. I could do that really good, so I'll just mimic his behavior. And I went to a pregnancy center and thought, I'll help all these women. But the saving was for me. I needed the saving. And I was asked the question, have you ever had an abortion? Usually I lie about that. But this particular time I said yes. And I didn't admit to just the one abortion. I admitted to both of them. And they sent me to abortion recovery program, which was amazing. I was hesitant and I was angry, but at the end I received God's healing and his grace. And I wish I could say I jumped right into ministry and started telling my story. No, it took me 4 years to even do any of that. And now I help other women deal with healing and tell my story to other people. Now, I still struggle. My 6-year-old asked me, while I'm getting all this stuff prepared for these programs, she said, "Mommy, what happened to my brother and sister? Why are they in heaven?" And I sat down and I told her, when Mommy was young, she did something really bad. She gave me a look like mommies don't do anything bad. And I said, I had your brother and sister in my tummy, and I didn't want them there anymore. So I went to the doctor. She looked at me. She said, "What did the doctor do?" And I thought, well, what words do I use? I say abortion. She won't know what that means. So I told her, he killed them. And tears rolled down her cheeks. And she said, "Mom, I wish I'd have got a chance to meet him." And I said, I do too. I wish I could have kissed him and hugged him. And from a 6-year-old, she looked at me, she said, "You can still kiss him." Well, how can I kiss him? She kissed her hands and looked up to the sky and said, "That's how." And then she grabbed my face as gentle as she could and was like, "But promise me something, Mommy. Promise me you would never do that again." And I promised her I would. So I say to parents, if your kid comes to you and says she's pregnant, love her right where she's at. There's options out there for her. Because as my 6-year-old showed me grace and mercy, you can do the same for your child. Because sometimes the only way kids see that is through our parents, our actions.